Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to Mrs. Bandu's Math Movies. This is lesson 3-5 for course 2, dividing fractions and mixed numbers. So our objectives are to do that, divide fractions and mixed numbers, and solve problems by dividing. Okay. We have a couple of concepts. We have a concept and a definition. Okay. So, first of all, I would like to write out in words basically the rule for dividing with fractions. So, to divide by a fraction, multiply by its reciprocal. Okay, so again, to divide by a fraction, you multiply by its reciprocal. Okay, that's what these two examples are going to show us. We'll also define reciprocal here in a moment. Okay, so if I start out with 3 divided by 3/4, that becomes 3, and I'm going to write this as 3 over 1, okay, times 4 over 3. Okay, I've taken the 3/4 and basically I've flipped it over. 3/4 and 4/3 are reciprocals because two numbers are reciprocals if their product is 1. We'll write that down here in just a moment as well. Okay, but I changed divide to multiply and flipped or taken the reciprocal of the second number. Most kiddos remember it as flipping that second fraction. Remember, I never flip the first fraction, but always flip the second fraction and multiply for division. Okay, similarly, A over B divided by C over D is equal to A over B times D over C, okay? And B, C, and D, none of those three can be 0. Because in one case or the other, they give us a denominator of 0, and remember, division by 0 is undefined. Okay, so again, there's that. Those are reciprocals, C over D and D over C. Two numbers are reciprocals if their product is 1. And here are a couple of examples. If I take the reciprocals 2/3 and 3/2, and I multiply them together, and I'm not even going to cross cancel at this point, but 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 2 is 6, so their product is 1. Okay. Also, let's look at one. If I have 5/8 times 8/5, I'm going to simplify here. 5 goes into 5 once, 8 goes into 8 once as well, so I get 1 over 1 or 1 whole. Okay, all of these cross cancel out to 1s, but anyway, so 2/3 and 3/2 are reciprocals, 5/8 and 8/5 are reciprocals, and so on. Okay, so if you have a fraction, to take its reciprocal, you simply flip it over. You can prove that they're reciprocals by multiplying them together. Okay, and reciprocals are what we use when we're dividing with fractions and mixed numbers. Okay, so if we want to find 4 and 2/3 divided by 1 and 3/4, the first thing we need to do is change each of these numbers into an improper fraction. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 is 14, so this gives me 14/3 for my first fraction. Divided by 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7/4. Okay, so what we do here now, we have 14/3 divided by 7/4. We're going to multiply by 4/7, which is the reciprocal, okay, of 7/4. So again, I'm flipping that second fraction, or taking the reciprocal of the second fraction never the first fraction. Okay, now we can divide or simplify the 14 and the 7 by their greatest common factor of 7. Okay, 7 divided by 7 is 1. 14 divided by 7 is 2. Again, remember, I'll probably refer to that as cross-canceling rather than simplifying. Okay, now multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 1 is 1. Oh, I'm sorry. 3 times 1 is 3. I'm not really trying to change the times tables here, guys. Okay, so we have 8/3, which as a mixed number is going to be 2 2/3. Remember, that's 8 divided by 3, which is 2. 2 is your remainder, so 2 2/3 is the final answer in simplest form. Okay, our next example, you'll turn the page. You have a piece of fabric that is 12.5 feet long. You need to cut it into strips that are 1 1/4 feet long. How many strips will you have? So, to find out how many 1 1/4 long strips are in 12.5 feet, you're going to divide the larger piece of 12.5 feet by 1 1/4 feet, because that's the size of the piece that you want, or the strip in this case. So we can do an estimate here. 12.5 is about 12 or 13. Let's call it 13. Divided by 1 is 13. Okay, so that's going to tell us our answer should be somewhere in that ballpark of 13. All right. Write the mixed numbers as improper fractions. So 12 times 2 is 24 plus 1 is 25 halves. Divided by 1 1/4, which is 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5, so 5/4. We're dividing by 5/4, so we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of 5/4, which is 4/5. So my problem becomes 25 halves times 4/5. Okay, divide 5 and 25 by their greatest common factor of 5. Okay, so 5 divided by 5 is 1. 25 divided by 5 is 5. And divide 4 and 2 by their greatest common factor of 2. So here's a case where I can actually simplify twice before I even work out the problem. Okay, 2 goes into itself once, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, so now I'm going to do 5 times 2 gives me 10, and 1 times 1 is 1. So I simplify and get 10. There are 10 1 1/4 inch strips, 1 1/4 feet strips of fabric in 12.5 feet. So 10 is fairly close to 13, so the answer is reasonable. You're going to find that in multiplication and division, your answers are probably not going to be quite as close to the actual answer as when you multiply or divide. Okay, so you have a couple of quick check questions here. Please have those completed by class time, and also, as always, I want you to review these notes, bring in any questions you know of that you have, so that we can get those answered before we continue on. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.